What's up, people? I'm back with another video for you guys, this time in the UU tier, and let's go over the team before we get into the battle. Now, ThaMies is the first on the list. I've built this team around him. He's an attacker, of course. He uses the choice scarf to outspeed a lot of Pokemon with the U-turn to get out of there when it's not a good matchup, of course. And if it is a good matchup, I can use Flare Blitz for first stab, do a lot of damage to any mon that doesn't resist it, and as the other two moves I have Rock Slide against flying types especially, and Super Power, which would do a lot of damage to a lot of Pokemon. Now, together with ThaMies, I'm using Quagsire. Quagsire is basically here for any setup Pokemon. The reason I've added him to the team is I was facing some cloisters that gave me trouble, and Unaware makes it so that any boosted stats are ignored, so he can take any hit from cloister or something like that. He uses the leftovers to prolong his life together with Recover. He can potentially scald any Pokemon getting the burn, or Toxic and stall them out if it's the case, and as the last move I'm using Earthquake. Moving on, the next Pokemon on the list is my Chestnut. Got to mention this, Quagsire is my defensive wall, of course. So we got physical attacker, physical wall. Then we have Chestnut, he's also a physical wall, and he does basically the same as Quagsire. He uses leftovers also, Leech Seed to regain its HP, Spiky Shield to stall out turns, and Drain Punch to have a step attack and gain back HP. Now there's one move that's different from the others, and that's Wood Hammer. This move of course has recoil instead of gaining back my HP. So yeah, in that fashion he's a bit different from the rest of the team, but this is a really good set to run. Do notice that people get annoyed by it quite a lot, so sorry for you guys if you're facing this, but it really works. Next up is my Hydreigon. I'm using Expert Belt, max damage on super effective hits. Uses Draco Meteor, which does a lot of damage most of the time. Dark Pulse as stab, Fire Blast against any grass type I'm facing, Flash Cannon as a filler move. Could run a different move in here, but I decided to go with Flash Cannon. Then next up is Ampharos. The only Ampharos you should be running is the Mega if you're running it Ult. So he uses his Ampharosite. Not sure if I pronounced that right. Ability Static. He's my special attacker. Thunderbolt, Volt Switch. So I got Volt Switch and U-turn together, which can work really well together, and Focus Blast. Last in the list is my own Cloister. I decided if you can't beat them, join them, or something like that. It's the basic Cloister set. Focus Sash to give at least one hit skill link for the Rock Blast and Icicle Sphere, and Shell Smash of course. And I decided for the last move to use Ice Shard as a priority move. So there's a lot of priority in this tier, and 1 HP that's enough to take out Cloister. So Ice Shard will help me to prolong his life. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So Cloister would be my late game sweeper. Other Pokemon are kinda meant to do as much damage as they can for switching Cloister. Now, that's the team I'm using. So going over it, this is my physical defensive Pokemon, special attacker, physical defensive Pokemon, another physical defensive Pokemon, physical attacker. So I don't have a special wall in this team. I do think it will work So let's get into the battle. So I'm facing this guy, TheKlefkiKilla. He's using a, well, not really that standard UU team. He has an Ampharos just like me. His Beedrill, which is dangerous, I have to take it out as soon as I can. And Blissey. Blissey turned out to be a lot more trouble than I thought it would. But yeah, that's pretty much the meaning of Blissey in a team. And Celebi, he's on Celebi, which is also always awesome to have in a team. Flygon, which will give me a lot of trouble. And Donphan probably as a spinner. Perhaps Rocks. So let's get into this. He starts off with Blissey, I start off with Chestnut, and of course Blissey is very sensitive to any fighting type attack, so first punch is free. Of course you switch out into this Beedrill. Now Beedrill is a very dangerous Pokemon to have on. Adaptability after its Mega is really overpowering if you're not prepared for it. Of course his Stab, poison type attack will take out Chestnut, no problem. So I decided to switch out, predicting his Protect on the first turn, which is kinda obvious. I went into Pros, who should be able to take a hit even after his Mega, and well, decided to stay in, of course, with goes for an for his Stab attack, and he gets a crit, which is lucky for him, but Ampharos can take that. That shows a lot about how bulky this Pokemon is, and return attack of course kills this Beedrill. Beedrill doesn't have a very bulky stat, so I can get rid of that really early in the game, which would help me out greatly. Brings in his Donphan and doubles out. Do the same because Donphan is a really bad matchup. Now this matchup is kinda coming back throughout the game. Quagsire walls Blissey pretty much, only Toxic can take out Quagsire. As you just saw in the first time Blissey attacked, it was Toxic and it will pretty much go for it and try to stall out Quagsire. Now Quagsire does almost the same thing. So we're in for a long match at this point. I want figure out what moves Blissey are running. Not really used to playing in UU tier, so everything is kinda new to me. We Toxic each other, uses Aromatherapy, so I know he will heal himself back up, his team back up anytime he has the chance. And I use Earthquake, it's physical. I was trying to figure out how much damage Quagsire could do to Blissey at this point, but it's good to keep in mind that I can force a move on Blissey by Toxicing it. So I have to switch out here, especially after seeing this soft boil. There's no way I will take out this Blissey even with the crit as we just saw. So I decided to go for another Toxic, and then turn he's going to himself up, switch out into Manitan. Now the Manitan outspeeds, of course. He's running the superpower, which would take out Blissey. Pretty sure it would. Of course he knows that, so he switches out, but decided to go for it anyway, see what it will do. He switches in Celebi, which is a big risk here. If I would have predicted this and gone Flare Blitz, Celebi would have been gone, but I didn't. I switch out the Manitan, of course. Can't stay in here doing this Celebi, and I have a perfect switch in form of Hydreigon. Switches in Blissey again. Decided to go for Pulse. Kind of figured he would stay in with this Celebi, and I didn't want to give away fire type attack just yet. So I go for a Draco, and it's also a nice way to figure out how much Hydreigon could do to Blissey, which is not a lot. 24%, which won't be enough to take it out, and of course my special attack drops way down low, so I have to switch up. It's a lot of switching in this game. I go back in with Quagsire, which is the perfect switch in for Blissey, of course. Figured stay in, trying to toxic stall me, so I decided to go for toxic, and instead I toxic this Flygon, which is good also. Flygon is a really dangerous Pokemon to face in the battle. So I have to switch out. I'm interfering the grass type attack. I'm kind of sure he has Giga Drain. Not really sure about it. And he shows me Facade, which was a surprise for me. Expect Facade on Flygon. Yes, it works in his favor. I can go for Spiky Shield to do some initial damage. Keep in mind he's still toxic, still poisoned, so he will take another percent of damage, of course, each turn. And I can't take any hit I get from Flygon. As you can see, Chestnut is really bulky on the physical side, so I'm good. I can take out this Flygon, which has given me trouble in the past. He goes back into Celebi. Can't do much to Celebi, so I have to switch out. Switch in Hydreigon, which was too obvious. My opponent predicted me nicely with that. Hit me with a super fast. Probably thought he could kill me the next turn, but I guess I'm lucky. Fire Blast hit for a lot of damage to the Celebi. Lose my Hydreigon in the process, but Celebi that low is worth it. And I switch in Dominican, forcing a switch on him. Was kind of hoping for another Pokemon to switch in, but he goes into his Dominican. U-turn is always safe. Enables me to keep initiative in this match. This is a crit, which also always nice. And I go into Quagsire. Now, of course, he has to switch out here. Scald would do a lot of damage here. Decided to take the gamble. Don't really lose that much from it because burn would force another turn from Blissey. Aromatherapy, so yeah, it isn't that bad, and I kind of know that Quagsire can't take out Blissey anyway, so it's a free turn even if he switches out. Now I decide to go for Toxic, I believe. Want Blissey poisoned as much as I can, not for the HP, but just for forcing his turns. Double protect here, and I recover. Now, this was a really nice turn of events, putting my Quagsire back at 100%. Yeah, gone for a second. Now he switches out to Celebi, and exactly on that turn I went for Toxic, which is really great. Means the Celebi has 2 turns left. Switch out. Chestnut to take a lot of damage. I was hoping for a lot less than that. Perhaps a grass type attack, but yes, he predicted me again on this turn, so well done by my opponent. Takes a Toxic turn. Now, of course I can go for the Spiky Shield at this turn. It's kinda obvious, but it works. Gain some HP back, leftovers. I take out Celebi at the same time. Goes back into Blissey, and right here should have went for my fire type punch, drain punch, but I decided to stay in. I figured he would switch and go for leech seed. Check out how much HP I'm getting back from him. Switch out for the next turn, go to Quagsire, switch into the now. Next few turns will be a bit stally, a lot of switching going on. Matchup I would like to have is Dominator versus Blissey. Every time that ends up, he has to switch out and I get a free attack off. So Aromatherapy is predicted, and now he can't stay in, he has to switch out. I can do as much damage as I can to to his Donphan. Superpower does quite a lot of damage. I have to switch out. Quagsire is fine, can take any hit, don't think for it. At this point I am thinking about the end game. How could I win this game? Now Cloyster is still at Sash 100%, so could do a lot of damage to his team. It would be great if I could get him in on a kill. Get no damage from it, keep my Sash intact, take any hit from this Donphan. Go for the Shell Smash, try to sweep his team. I did some calking on Chansey. If Cloyster could take him out, and it would be a roll, so I decided to go for it. Shell Smash, Head Smash. This recoil is really nice. It really helps me to take out Donphan, but he should have gone for a different move. Yes, in the end it didn't matter. Now he goes into his Blissey, and it's a roll, as I said before, if I could take him out. As you see, I get 2 low rolls, which allows Blissey to survive the hit, get the toxic off, and that means Cloyster is gone. But I do think Blissey at 9% is low enough to take him out, so I'll go into Benetton. His protect doesn't matter, won't save him, and Flare Blitz. So Blissey puts Ampharos really low, so my Chestnut be able to take him out. Flare Blitz once again. Who takes some recoil? Opponent uses Cotton Guard. Not really sure. Perhaps he was hoping on switch out or something. Doesn't happen. I can take him easily. That means I win the battle. The UU tier really needed some wins. I'm trying to get a little bit better rating for you. It's a very difficult tier in my opinion. I'm not really used to playing it, but I guess it could be a lot of fun. My opponent, TheKlefkiKilla, I want to thank you for this match. It was a really nice match. Hope to see you again sometime. And well guys, that's it. See ya.